going on, everybody? We are live, I think. All right. Get my chat figured out here. What's going on, everybody? Oh, that was really loud. Sorry, I didn't expect for that to be quite so intense. Thank you very much. The classic. I haven't worn a bowler hat in a while. I got a haircut not long ago, but it's starting to get to the grown out stage. So I did get a haircut, but now that it's grown out a little bit, the hats come back. Okay, I'm gonna wait just a couple minutes while people get situated. As always, I will ask, how's the music volume? How is my voice volume? Things always change. I've been messing around with settings, trying to find the best way to get this to you guys. Last week, partway through the stream, the video does go choppy, but the audio is perfect. So I think that's my computer was just having an issue handling the high def footage coming into the computer. Hopefully that doesn't happen this week. We will see. I have a lot of energy right now for no real reason. Maybe it's this playlist. I don't know. Today scares me a little bit. I'm doing something a little nerve-wracking today. I'm practicing name writing. Vintage signature style name writing, which is not terribly different from the normal writing that I do, except for the fact that it's very small. The signatures and whatnot that they did on name cards were on tiny little cards, and there's not one specific size that they always used. Penman back in the day would go on like business card size or slightly bigger. Some wrote on much bigger. Because business card is like the standard name card size these days, I am striving to be able to do signatures the size of a business card, which is easier said than done, unfortunately, but we're gonna figure it out. So I'm just gonna warm up a little bit while people pop in here. I have too much energy. I don't know why. I didn't drink coffee or tea or anything, but my body is just like vibrating right now, and I don't know why. It's very strange, but I'm a little worried right now because the whole reason I tell people not to drink coffee and whatnot is because it affects your fluid movement, and I don't want to affect my fluid movement. Try to breathe and force my body to relax a little bit. What's going on, Ashok? Welcome. I need to dance. I mean, I always need to dance. I went for a walk earlier, went and checked on an apartment someplace thinking of moving. I don't know. I'm looking at apartments a few kind of every day these days, just seeing what's available in and around the area. Morning, Colby. Wait, morning? Colby, where do you live? What time is it where you are? Okay. Okay. Midnight. That makes more sense. I was like, hold up. Wait a minute. You don't live like in England. But midnight. Yeah. Sorry, East Coast folk. My bad. I could do my stream earlier, But then I run the risk. I feel like if I ever have stuff scheduled on a Tuesday, there's a good chance it'll be done by this time, and I don't want to run the risk of having to cancel too many of these. And plus, I really like just chilling at night. This is like my Tuesday night, write for a while, hang out, chat with you guys for a while, and then go do some stretches, because I've had to do a lot of that lately, and then go to bed. It's a nice Tuesday routine. It's cold in here today, though. I had a hoodie on a moment ago, but I took it off because it was affecting my arm movement a little bit more than I wanted it to. That's good. Yeah, don't worry. I wouldn't say don't worry too much about copying what I'm writing today. By all means, try. I'm going to be doing just signatures, essentially. Initial-based signatures of if you guys have requests, I will do those, and then I have a list. I printed it out, so I'm ready. A lot of people on Instagram requested some initials, so I'm just going to be doing initial practice, but very small. What up, Suvik? What up, Vincent? It's the excitement. It is Tuesday night. It's exciting. It's no longer like stressful. I just have to remember every once in a while to go over to my computer and move my mouse around to make sure it's not choppy, like what happened last week. Luckily, the audio continued through the entire time, so it didn't end up being a huge deal. But the video chopped up quite a bit. I don't know exactly why. I don't know if my computer was just in a mood or what the problem was. But hopefully that won't be the case this evening. This is our first live, I believe, unless I'm misremembering, using white paper. I've been doing mostly white ink on black paper these days because it shows up so good on camera. But for name cards, I have little special guides that I printed specifically for practicing name cards. And I'm using ink, so I'm using actually black ink today. I'm using McCaffrey's black. It is very old McCaffrey's black, though. I have to restock because this is not it's not McCaffrey's working at its prime. It's working good, but it's not prime. I feel like I've written this signature so much these days. Alright. Can't stand up and dance right. I mean, I could, I guess. Okay. Am I ready? Am I warmed up enough? I don't know. That wasn't much of a warm-up. I think part of the reason I'm nervous, signature practice doesn't stress me out that much, but card writing practice, there's just something about it scares me, because to me it's like ornamental penmanship and movement writing and stuff is already, I consider it difficult and a challenge, and then when you take that challenge and then you force it to be smaller with constraints, gosh, much more challenging. Yep, working on Iron Gall today, James. We're working with Iron Gall. I was going to use blots, but I think my blots has got to the point where it's so old that once it's dry, if I smear it, no matter what paper it's on, it like smears. It's dry, but it's like powder on top. So I think my blots has gone beyond its good point. Let me zoom in here a little bit more for you guys. A little bit. You can see a wee bit better. But yeah, working on the size that name cards have to be written at. That's the... I have a tough time understanding how some of those guys did it. I want to double check once again. The music isn't too loud for you guys, is it? I think I have my computer turned up a little bit louder than I did last week. So to me, it's a little bit louder. Just want to double check that it's not too loud for you guys. Smoothing out. My heart rate's relaxing. I wasn't going to mention this, but every time I look at the camera, I'm noticing it. Do you guys see what's going on underneath my glasses here? There's like a crazy... It looks like I got in a fight. This crazy red bump. It's not... It's not like a pimple or anything, but it's been growing the past few days. It's very annoying. I don't really notice because I don't look at myself that often, but I'm seeing it in my camera and it's frustrating. Maybe hair too loud. All right, we can tone the music down a little bit. I think that's a good level for when I play like classical and chill music, but I don't know. It might be, yeah, a little too much for this playlist. Alright, what do we got here? Do you find yourself able to be more creative with the total freedom or under specific constraints? I mean, I'm definitely more creative when I have total freedom, just because I can do whatever I want. And things can play and I experiment. What do you mean under constraints, like size constraints? Because that being said, like for the constraints we're giving tonight, which are, I think, what is it, 3.5 inch by 2 inch writing space, not as creative. I have to probably tone down probably some of my ideas, just because fitting some names into that short of a space will be very difficult. Have I been writing in red ink? No, pretty much just white ink. White ink, and I write in brown ink a lot. Not today though. I'm using Iron Gall black ink today, just because I like writing in walnut, as most people who know my feed know. But the issue with it is it doesn't show up well on camera, so I don't really use it. Oh wow, you have a scar from wearing your mask all day. That's stressful. It could have started from wearing my mask. That's pretty much right where my leather mask goes. I could have, whatever is initiating there could have started from a mask. I just hope it goes away. What kind of holder do I use? Today I'm using, it's a broken holder, but this is one of Yoke Pen's Yoke Pen Company's budget holders, I believe is how he categorizes them. It's just a simple walnut holder. I have a bunch of those that I get from him, and I custom carve things into them. This one at one point had cool finial and knot carved into it, but I broke it a couple years ago when I was in Hong Kong. I was careless, unfortunately, when I was stuffing my bag in a hurry, and I snapped it. And I have plans to fix it, but I've just gotten used to, for the past long time, using this little busted off holder. And it does have a leather grip. The leather grip doesn't really add or take away anything to it. It actually probably makes it a little bit thicker than it would ideally be for the pens that I like the most. Oh, fiber in my nib here. It definitely hasn't got any shorter. I was actually looking at the little piece as I was cleaning up a couple days ago. I found the little knot, and I held it up. But because I've been using this so much and traveling with it, the end has sort of been rounded off and whatnot a little bit, so it's not a perfect fit anymore. So I don't know if I'll end up actually fixing this one or if I'll just leave this one as is and carve a new knot holder, which I should anyways. I want to carve a series of knot holders. I call them my naughty holders. And I have plans to carve a whole bunch more. But yeah, this one is my little stubby nib, or my little stubby pen. And it fits like it just hits to the edge of my hand, or the edge of that finger, so it's pretty much any shorter and it would probably annoy me. Any longer and I wouldn't feel it anyways, because it's thin enough that this weighs basically the same as when it was longer. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna dive in. That's enough practice. I'm gonna trial by fire here. I should use water more than normal today since I'm using iron gall. It's one of the joys of working with walnut. You don't really have to worry about it. But since I'm working in iron gall, I will clean my nib a little more often today. Okay. Start. I'm going to give myself a baseline. We're going to do a few practice ones before I get into people's names. So this is a sheet. You guys can see I specifically made little guides. This is just, it's like I'm taking it in steps, working on a card, like working on a business card size piece of cardstock is the goal. So what I've done is made little guides on this sheet of paper that are the size of a business card. And then I gave myself, just on a few sheets here, a baseline to follow. Just for the first little bit to practice shrinking the signatures. I know, like, my original signature, my old one, I don't think I've ever been able to do it small enough to fit in this size format. You have a Magnuson, don't you? A traditional one? I personally don't own a traditional Magnuson. I own some Magnuson replicas that are vintage. I won't get them out right now. But I do own some vintage Magnuson lookalikes that are basically the exact same, but they're not stamped with his name. So I don't have an actual Magnuson holder. Yeah, get a wood fire going. Warm yourself up. No such thing as a stupid question. Stupid question. Would you explain how you grip the holder? Yeah, of course. So my grip, tell you what I'll do here. I'll show it in both cameras. Let me zoom this one out and get my autofocus. So the way I personally grip, I use a traditional vintage grip, which is with your knuckles up. So I don't turn my hand to the side. I'm up like this, and the only part that touches the page, for business writing, it's these fingernails, but for OP, it's this first knuckle, so the side of my pinky, and then also a little bit of my next finger, of my ring finger touch, but sometimes my ring finger just kind of rides on my pinky finger, if that makes sense. And then the way my pen goes in my hand, my hand is basically relaxed. There's no tension in my hand whatsoever, and I just have the pen in there. So there's absolutely no holding, gripping. You can see there's no white skin around my finger whatsoever. When I'm preparing to write and when I'm doing hairlines, my hand is completely 100% at rest. There's zero tension whatsoever. The only time any tension is added is on a shade. I will grip the pen, and that's just simple. I just grip it a little bit more, and that does two things. Number one, and probably most important, is it holds onto the pen so that if I'm super relaxed and do a shade, I mean the pen's gonna fall out of my hand. So gripping it a little bit more when I shade keeps the pen in my hand, and then my shade comes from my forearm. I push everything down at once. And then also what you'll notice, the grip, if you imagine paper's right here, when I grip using a traditional grip, sorry, that didn't make sense. When I grip using this hold, it forces the nib down. So one thing that kind of subconsciously does as I'm shading, when I grip, it's pushing the nib down sort of into the shade. So it's just adding to the shade a little bit. But the biggest thing that I will say is when I'm like all flourishes and everything, when there's no shade, forearm movement, whole arm movement, doesn't matter. When I'm writing, there is no tension whatsoever in my hand. Okay, here. Zoom back in now. Would I please write your friend's name, Jilla? Yes, I can. Remind me a little bit later. I'll take requests, and you can give me her name as well, again, and I will write it. I'll try not to forget, but remind me when I call out for some requests. I grip between the thumb and the first knuckle on my middle finger. Yeah, that's basically, I mean, if you look here, that's my first knuckle. So I'm right there on my middle finger. I'm pretty close to the tip of my middle finger. I think one reason that, like, I know traditionally you'll see, I think traditionally I hold my middle finger a little higher than some of the documented photos of the old penmen. And the main reason for that, what's going on, Fozzie? The main reason for that is a lot of times when I'm doing whole arm stuff and doing really big things, I will find that my fingers will drag through my hairlines or through my laid down ink. So I started just getting into the habit of basically lifting. So you'll notice in my grip here, to a perfectly traditional grip, this knuckle would probably be like that. So they'd be like cascading down. Whereas I personally lift this up a little bit. It rides sort of on the side of the holder so that it doesn't stick down too far. And that just, for me, that lowers the chances that I'm going to push my finger through a hairline or through ink. Only really matters when I'm doing really big flourishing and whole arm stuff, but it's just a habit that I've gotten into. You're very welcome. I'm glad that explanation made sense. And yeah, the top finger, my students are always surprised when I show them shading without the top finger. The top finger really doesn't play, for me anyways, any role in my writing. It might come into a little bit with the grip on the shade, but I don't really press down. Lowercase letters, I do press down with that finger. That's where I think my shades come from, on lowercase letters and whatnot. But for my larger letters, the index finger does very little. Most of it comes from the arm and from the grip in the hands. Hey, welcome. Okay. I need my heart rate and my body to relax just a little bit. Signature card writing is stressful, and it shouldn't be stressful because I'm just on a piece of paper like normal, but just keeping a design from there to there. I don't know why it stresses me out, but we're just gonna start. One fun way, instead of making up names, I guess this is kind of making up names, but one way that I practice when I do signatures is I'll do things like this, where we can do whoa, too high of a shade. PR Actus. Practice. I find it really fun to make signatures and fake names out of just like words. I find it entertaining. Like my name, capital M, capital I, capital K, E, which doesn't really work. I guess it works best for capital M, capital I, capital C, Heal. Not real names, but just when you're practicing, it's sometimes daunting to just think of names and words, so this is how I do it quite often. CLOWN, I like that. That's good. Oh, here, let me write in this corner so I don't get in front of my video. Or we could do like... IRO. I ruined it with that O. I was doing good with the I and the R. IR own goal. Iron goal. What do you mean doesn't really work, Fozzy? F-O-Z-Z-Y. That could work. Maybe. Let's try it out. Got your light board out. Nice. I quite like that I to R transition. Nice and easy compound curve transition. Let's try Fozzy's. F-O-Z-Z. I'm in Canada. F-O-Z-Z-Y. I guess Z-Y is pretty short. We'll see what we can do here. Oh, I forgot about connecting letters. That's okay. Signatures don't always have to connect. Huh. The dreaded O that I have trouble with. Ooh, that was unintentional, but it kind of looks cool. I'm going to drop the cross of the F right inside the O here. Yeah! That actually looks pretty cool if you ask me. Yeah, that's ZZY. Very sleepy last name. I like it. I'm all about the happy accidents. Thank you, Bob Ross. Because the cool thing about those, I mean, that's not something that I think I would ever really strive for. If I'm being honest, what I would probably do different to this one if I did it again. When I'm doing the Z here, I would bring this exit stroke up higher to cross straight through this Z ascender, and then thread the needle through the Y descender, and then I would come over here in either a compound curve or just an oval around the whole thing. And that would be my ideal if I was smarter on the fly. But I think that looks cool. Yeah. So far, we haven't gone out of our bounds yet, which is good. Granted, all the names we've done so far have been pretty short. I'm going to pick out a few more just random ones. Some people on Instagram gave me some long ones that I'm a little bit nervous to attempt. Oh, ruined it. No good A on that one. Another stroke. I actually did not too shabby in this instance. One stroke that I have a lot of trouble with and always have is this one right here. James, him asked, who's in the chat right now, is, in my opinion, quite good at this stroke, and it stresses me out. Stress is the wrong word. I just have trouble with it every time. Getting the shade short enough and placed in the exact right spot, because it happens so fast for me when I do that exit stroke. But R.A. Ndum. Ndum. Mr. Ndum. Oh, don't burn your eggs. That's no good. It's not worth it. Eggs. Speaking of eggs, though, tomorrow morning, I'm very excited. I'm waking up very early tomorrow to go out. I was Googling earlier the best breakfasts in my area, and I'm going out for breakfast tomorrow morning. Because I haven't eaten solid food in 5 days. Today is the 5th and final day of the juice cleanse that I started 5 days ago, obviously. I have one juice left to go. It's in the fridge. I've consumed nothing but water and 6 bottled juices for the past 5 days. I'm not hungry. I've been chilling. I'm usually pretty good at the cleanse thing. I usually do one every year or so, but I haven't done one in a while. But I'm very excited for classic egg breakfast tomorrow morning. Yeah, breakfast is my favorite. Like I kind of chintz out on I'm not good at the cooking the lunches and the putting together the dinners and all that kind of stuff. But I like waking up in the morning and making eggs, bacon, toast. I like making my breakfast in the morning, and I haven't done that in quite a while. CLNs. Yes, we're gonna do that one right after I had just remembered something that I wanted to double check. I want to make sure. Ashok says his connection's bad. So far, the connection's telling me we're good on the computer. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't on this end, because I know last week we had some issues on this end. I've also heard that some internet providers have sort of been throttling people's connections due to COVID, just because there's been such an excess of streaming worldwide, even more than normal. CLEANSE. Yeah, we're going to do that one. Oh, I forgot I was doing a connected signature. Darn it. I should have continued that going into an L, but that's okay. What do we do here? I'm going to do something weird that I normally wouldn't ever do, but I'm going to just, for the sake of keeping things connected, we're going to try it. Yeah, this is going to be a weird signature. Darn it. Got my spacing messed up. Didn't work out the way I had intended. First snip snap of the day. See, that shade's just it happened too late. The shade needs to happen between that point and that point. I started kind of at the right point, but I continued it too long. Thank you very much, Cindy. Welcome to my live. We got 21 people in here. I don't know if that's an all-time high. I can't remember what our averages have been on YouTube, but that's good. Slowly, people are starting to come over from Instagram to my YouTube lives. I'm gonna hopefully keep them going because they're fun for me. This has been, again, similar to last week. This is kind of the only writing I've done this week. It's been a big week of organizing and whatnot. Okay, what are we doing now? What name here? Bacon. I like it. I'm down. I feel like my camera is set up a little bit far to one side, but that's okay. Bacon. I was trying to think earlier today on how to connect B's to things. B's are one of those letters that because they finish in a indirect horizontal oval on the baseline, it's weird going into letters like A. They just kind of have to overlap. They don't really connect too well without getting super creative. And that's not really our goal today. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike cannot write an A today, apparently. Ooh, that's not a bad one. Tiny little shade, but I like the placement. My angles are all out of whack on that one, but... Bachelor of Arts, yes. I like that. 22 people. We are POPU. It's fun imagine them like they're really like they're real people. Like Mr. It could be Paul Osborne, his middle name. His last name is Pular. That's a fun, interesting last name. Like these last names, Dukan and Eins and Z and Nadam. They don't really work, I guess, in real world, but that's okay. SA usage. Sausage. For a second, I was like, what is SA usage? I don't get it. But I like sausage. We're going to do that one next. S is another one. The way it finishes, when it comes first, it's weird connecting things to the S. Oh, there's supposed to be another S in there. S-A, no, S-A-U, S-A-G-E, right. Not sausage. Sausage. Somebody's being sassy, feeding me some sausage. Sorry. Sausage. Sound off, curious, in the comments or in the chat right now, who that's in the chat right now was planning, who would have been in Atlanta right now? We would have been doing this, we're doing it live, but we would have been hanging out in the practice room. What is it, 9 o'clock in Atlanta? What time is it in Atlanta? I don't know. But classes would have been done, dinners, people would have been coming back from dinner, and we would be hanging out in the study room, chilling, doing, probably not this specifically, but I would more than likely be writing or just talking to people while they write. Fozzie, I saw that you forgot to renew your membership. It made me wonder. I guess I always renew my membership with my convention, I guess, fees. So I've never remembered to renew my membership. I hope I didn't have to this year, but I should look into it. Your post this morning reminded me of that, and then I fully forgot it again. Coffee? Not if you're writing. And some waffles. Your guys' names are killing me. This is awesome. I'm missing so many. This is great. Getting the name centered is tricky. One of the biggest things that I've fail at that because I just kind of start at the farthest to the left. I haven't really given a single thought yet to centering everything, to centering the names, because in my brain, I write signatures much larger than this. So I'm never really worried about finishing too soon, even though certain instances like bacon, I had a little bit more space, but usually you can fill that space with flourishes and whatnot. Spelling, yeah, I'm not good at spelling. Coffee, don't drink coffee if you're writing. It would be 12:40 in Atlanta. So yeah, this is appropriate time. We would be chilling. This is the time of the evening where some people would start to die out. Between like 11 and 12, we'd lose some people from the study room. But I gotta tell you, over the past, I'll say 3 years. Yeah, over the past 3 years or so at IAMPIF, the number of people that have been remaining in the study room longer as the night progresses has been increasing like so much every year, and it makes me so happy because like originally my first IAMPIF we didn't have study rooms, but my first IAMPIF our late night group was very small, and then every year especially since we started getting real study rooms, the people that stay up grow and grow in numbers, which I don't know, it makes me super happy. It's my favorite time of the convention. So it's cool to see people chilling and staying. And makes me sad that we're not there. Yeah, go make some waffles. I'm gonna with Nutella. I'm gonna write Nutella because I like that one. Nutella. Nutella. I like it. This song is intense. I remember this one. We used this playlist last week. Can I use like a fancy intro? This might be too brave. Angles are all kinds of wonky today. Nutella. Strange connection into the U. Oh, I was out of frame almost. Sorry about that. Nathaniel Umberto Della. I like it. Sounds smart. I have to do waffles now just because every single time I look at my phone right now, I just see the word waffles. Every time I look at the comments, somebody else, it seems like has commented the word waffles. So we're gonna write waffles. Oh, I can't really go into... Nope. Oh, I messed myself up because my shade of my A, you guys see what I did there? My shade of my A is going to go right where that connection is, which is a no-no. I mean, it will hide the connection, so it's not a big deal, but I shouldn't have done that. So now, to fix that, what can I do here? I never used this A. WAFFLES. And we stayed within our guideline, which makes me very happy. Names of breakfast. Ah! Like EB bread. I gotta catch up on commenting here. Oh, that elevator in Denver was quick. I remember that. I didn't experience the vertigo, but I remember a lot of people experiencing it and talking about it. You've got your own custom paper letterhead. Not... Oh, that's... I thought you were talking about... Because I do have... I mean, my actual, like... If somebody asked me what was my letterhead, it would be this one, would go at the top. That's what I would consider my, like, if I had a letterhead. This is on my envelopes that I printed the other day. But I guess because all of my handouts for my classes are all made on one sort of master file. So when I made these printouts today, they just already have that on the bottom. Because it's just easier to not recreate every time. I just move lines around. So I have one file that has, like, basically any angle or opacity level, thickness of line, lightness of line, on all different layers, so I can just toggle things on and off. All immaculately organized, because I'm a graphic design nerd. Did I use the line wizard? I actually don't have a line wizard, but I used a section liner, which is what the line wizard is based off of. I have a number of vintage section liners that I did use for that little letterhead. The original is much bigger. It's probably about 8 by 10, the way I wrote or drew the big one. But then I had it shrunken down and printed some of the envelopes at home. But I'm excited. I've submitted my order from envelopes.com for some actual on good paper, slightly textured, but I tested it, I can still write on it. And I'm hoping their printing, well, it will look better than my printing. It'll look higher quality. You won't be able to see all the lines because of how much it shrunk, but it'll be better than it is now. Behind the scenes magic. Yep. I've been debating getting a line wizard, but when I talked to Skylar about it, the answer is basically I only want one because I sort of have a section liner collection. I have a bunch of different kinds of them. And I just want one of his too because they're nice and heavy. But maybe one day, once COVID's over and start making money again. Alright, we're going to finish this page off and then I'll start doing some real names maybe. Oh, the crotch hatching 3D effect is the coolest thing ever. I was actually giving myself a hard time yesterday because I haven't done any like section line pieces yet. Ooh, GUI lines. I like it. I don't know how to go from, wait, give me a sec, let me think. Huh, can I do that entire signature? I'm gonna try. Not fully visualized in my brain, but I'm gonna try it anyways. And my hand isn't the most stellar today, but we'll see how this works. I'm gonna try to start with the eye and go all the way through in one stroke. I might have to stop to get more ink partway through, but whoa. I've been stopping and talking too much. My ink is drying. Going whole arm. You guys can see now my forearm's coming off the desk because I want to try to do this, which whole arm this small is Nope. The idea is there. I think it's possible. I just did not execute said idea very well. Oh, that's a bummer. Totally. How could I get into that smaller? I guess I could. No, because then I'm not high enough for the G. It might just be a connection that will never happen. Speaking of Wizard, I'm now getting a whole lot of emails from Wizarding. Oh, sorry. I apologize. It's important that you know what house you're from. It's good to know that you're a Slytherin. Everybody needs to know those things. I actually, just a couple days ago, started once again for about probably the 100th time by now, if not more, the Harry Potter audiobooks. Once again, I just finished book 3, so I just started the Goblet of Fire like a few minutes before we started this live. I'm listening to the American narrator, who Stephen Fry is my favorite. He does the British version, but I like Jim Dale as well. You can tell I've listened to them way too many times that I know each author, and I have a favorite narrator, not author, favorite narrator. All cunning. What's the rest of you guys? If you guys know your Hogwarts houses, let me know. Hufflepuff, nice. Cunning Slytherin, yep. Fozzie is definitely a Slytherin, 1000%. I personally am a Ravenclaw. Salt and vinegar peanuts. Sounds like a good plan. Okay, now guideline number 2. We have removed the baseline. So now I have to visualize my own baseline. Stepping up the challenge. I really wish my hand was doper today. Nothing feels like it's coming out that amazing today, unfortunately. Yet, anyways, the ideas are there. Ravenclaw, nice. Fellow Raven? I don't know, which is the best way to say that. That one would have been much better if I gave my capitals a little more space. Very much too squished together. The potential making the whole thing too big is very nerve-wracking. Yep. I'm gonna do the houses. Are there 2 F's in Gryffindor? There are, right? Griffendor. Oh, I once did Dumbledore's signature a long time ago. He has like 6 initials before his last name. He wouldn't get a name card. Sorry, Dumbledore. I love you, but your name's way too long, bro. Thank you very much. Gry, gosh, spelling. I tell you, everybody, one day I'll learn to spell. I promise. All right, we're going to do Gryffindor next. Gryffindor. Awesome. And because I'm connecting these, I'm going to use the capital A variation of the G. Uh-oh. Very close to the edge of the card. Shoot. Stunted little descender, so it didn't go out of the line. Shoot. That's not too shabby. I'm not mad at that one. My Y is a little tiny. Yeah. Albus, Percival, Wulfric, Brian, Dumbledore. Isn't there one more in there? Or is that it? Oh, you looked it up. Okay. Yeah, it's... I'm a nerd. The fact that I just looked at his initials and could say them. But his name is so long. Ravenclaw is Sir Diagon. What are we... What? I don't understand what's going on here. Poof Soofle? What are you guys talking about? I missed something in these comments. I don't want to take a class on spelling. I want to take a class on fun things. I'll just tell people I'll learn how to spell one other day. Wait, are these other languages? That's what you guys are talking? Okay. Spelling is most important? Psh. No, it's not. Letter forms and fun. Fun is most important, Fozzie. Always. Relaxation and fun. For years, I thought I was a Ravenclaw. People told me I was a Ravenclaw. But then as I got older, now it's just like, yep, you're a Ravenclaw, 1000%. Oh, in French, don't apologize. I just didn't know what you guys were saying. Okay, in French, that makes sense. I assumed they were another language. Pouf souffle. Serpentard. Wow. French. I need to relearn French one of these days. Okay, what do we got? Gryffindor, Ravenclaw. Next, Hufflepuff. We'll go Hufflepuff. A lot of F's. Huf. Okay. I keep wanting to write on this line, and then right before I drop my pen, remember, oh yeah, no baseline. Come up here. What H do I want to use here? We'll keep it simple. Oh, that was supposed to be higher to cross the F. Keep a straight baseline, Mike. Crummy. Ran out of space. I'll show you one of the things that I do all the time when I run out of space. I did it on the other page too. When my lowercase letter ends really close to the end of where I'm writing, I opt for usually that exit stroke. Just a really quick dash to the right and underline to the left. Um, like in my own signature has that one. My own signature is super short though, so it's not because it runs out of time. But that's just it's my favorite. Doesn't take a whole lot of space under the or to the right of the name if I happen to run out of room. I find that I'm writing on this type of an angle today, which is kind of frustrating. I'm pretty sure I'm trying to have it so my writing is straight on the camera and it's not set up that perfect, but I don't want to fix it. Italian. Ooh, Grifondoro. Tassoroso. Whoa. Yo, Hufflepuff sounds dope in Italian. If I was Italian, I think I'd want to be a Hufflepuff just because it sounds dope. Tassoroso. Tassoroso. I think I haven't read the rest yet, but I think Hufflepuff might be my favorite Italian word. It's like my favorite German word is butterfly, because it's Schmetterling. And you can say it beautiful like butterfly, but when I see the word Schmetterling, I think Schmetterling, which is super aggressive, and a butterfly is the farthest thing from aggressive. But you gotta have a favorite word in every language. So many comments! I can't keep up! I have one more house, well, not request, I guess. One more house I gotta do. I gotta do Slytherin. S-L-Y. See, yeah, the S, you can't connect an S to anything. Or you can, I just don't know how. Not in my wheelhouse. There's a fiber on my nib. It's still there. Darn it. No fibers allowed. That should be a shirt. Ooh yeah, crossing the T with the exit stroke. Bow, 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 bow. Fun. Shade isn't exactly in the right spot, but I'm not mad at it. That's just an accent one anyways. But look at my fuzzy hairlines all over the place. That's not performance. That rarely happens. Normally, I didn't see it. It looked clean. Whoops. Yeah, well, the best connected S or variation that I like to, I don't use it very often, but that I like when I see it is, like, I like Michael Saul's S is really dope. He does the reverse S. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. Let me show you. 2 seconds. Is it on here? Yeah, he doesn't use it in his own name, but he uses it in Deb's name on his book cover. That S. Wait, no, that goes the same. Wait a minute. That S is connectable. But not in this instance, like I'm wanting it to be. I have come up with some fun creative ways of connecting the S in my design work when I design proper signatures, but I haven't been. I'm not thinking of any off the top of my head. The one thing you could do is like my failed attempt earlier, what I did with the G is go into the S. I mean, you can come in from like the L here. I could have gone over and gone into the S, but that, you gotta go so high. I'm off the page. You gotta go so high from the L. I could have gone into the S that way to start off. Or one way I have also done it before, and probably for this version of the S, the compound curve S, the standard S, the best way would probably be to come, you leave a little more space between your entry oval and your indirect oval, and you come in through here and turn that into a compound curve into the L. In which, let's do, what starts with an S? Yeah, if you do twisters and stuff, then you can increase your ways of getting out of them. Like if you were to come, again, just hypothetically, if I were to make this shade twist around and then I could come out of that to go into my next letter. I just don't usually do twisters. I've been wanting to. Somebody posted, I don't remember who, somebody posted just this week some of, I believe it was Courtney, has a page of twisted capitals that are so nice. And if he did those all in one shot, it's stupid impressive. But I've been wanting to sort of practice those with movement. Okay, that's all the Hogwarts houses. I'm gonna write the word Hogwarts, and then I'm gonna do TW Isters, and then I'm gonna do some real human names. Darn it. Messed up. No good. You could make a huge chalkboard to write on. Just paint one of your walls black. Does Hogwarts end with an S? Yeah, it doesn't even end with a Z. Whoopsies. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, the twister could have gone inside. I should have brought the connection from the O. If I was going to do the way I did it, I should have brought this down lower. I wasn't thinking ahead, which is one of the reasons for this type of practice. I want to get better at just thinking up cool creations on the fly that work without having all the fails. But I'm cool with the fails because that's how I learn these things, and they're still fun. Z's over Z's. Heck yeah. 12 years I lived in the US and I was a Z-sayer, and then I moved to Canada and my 12-year-old nieces made fun of me. So I converted back to Z once I moved back here. Ooh, getting fancy here, folks. Can I connect a W to the I? I can. In theory. show me shade, but that's okay. Writing the word twister without a twister in it. Psych. I like that idea. I don't like how I executed it, but I like that idea. No, Hogwarts is... I definitely... Right when I wrote it, I knew I did it wrong. Oh, that makes sense, Colby. That's too bad. You could go and get a... Just like buy the cheapest chunk of plywood from Home Depot and paint that. Or even... Not even plywood. You could just get a piece of drywall. Super cheap. And bring that home, and then paint that. And then when you're done with it, I mean, it's not that expensive. So if you have to throw it away or if you break it, it's not that big of an issue. Tell you what, folks, something that's never happened on one of these lives before, but I've never been on a juice cleanse. I need to take a break to use the restroom. I will be right back. I wish I had something that I could, like, play. Wait, tell you what I'll do here. Hourglass. I won't be an hour. I'll just be a couple minutes. I'll be right back. My apologies. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Juice cleanse. And then I drink more water. Because hydration is important. What did I miss? So much chat while I was gone. This is hilarious. You guys are fun today. Not that you're not always fun. You're always fun. It's just we got a good group in here right now. Kudos, Udos. That was intermission. No, Fozzie, don't drink coffee. Back to your seats, people. Back to work. All right. I love that you actually brighten your lights. You took an actual intermission. That's great. Next time, next week, I don't know if I'll have to take a bathroom break next week. It's never happened before. But next week, I'm going to have prepared a intermission music playlist for you guys. And maybe I'll have something here that does something or whatnot. But I'll have a playlist just in case, so I'm ready to entertain you while I'm away. Okay, tell you what. Let me do some real names here. Give me some. I want some names, but I'm not just doing standard names. We're gonna keep them in this format. 1, 2, 3, or more if you're trying to be difficult. Capital letters with the last name. So an initial format vintage signature. I will do some of your guys' requests, and then I'll do some of the ones that the folks on Instagram, which probably includes some of you guys, requested. Yeah, I am using OBS. I could make a cool, fancy transition to your... I mean, I could make a whole intermission video. Really. I could just film a video of me, like, dancing in this place that plays on loop for, like, a while. Who knows what I'll do. Maybe I'll get creative. Maybe I won't. You'll have to tune in next week to find out. And I'll have to drink a lot of water, so I have to go to the bathroom in order for you to find out. Okay. Let's do Laura was the first one. We'll do Laura's here. But I can only read comments so fast, so I apologize if I miss some. I'll ask for reposts and whatnot. We got LM Naraki. I'm gonna pause the chat, so I'm not gonna be keeping up with you guys in chat right now while I'm doing these names. LM Naraki. Sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong. I apologize. CKI. Starting it off with a long one. Here we go. Oh, I gotta get my angles sorted out today. VCP. Oh, 4 capitals? You guys are making me work. Vincent making me work right off the get-go. These are names that require some prior thought. I'm trying to not prior think about them and just go for it and see what happens. VCPF. Okay. VCPF. Fiber, darn it. I run the risk of going through that swell. But I like the idea so far. That was supposed to be bigger through this middle part. So many things wrong, or so many things went wrong in the making of that signature. I really like the idea. This entry stroke to the F should have been higher above, ideally cut like right through that little shade, and then come under a little bit closer, or a little bit in that middle part, so it wasn't right so close to the P. But I like the idea. And our ending shade got kind of meshed up. But I like the idea, which is the important part. Flickering lights, yep. I have a DJ party. Actually, later, if you guys are, once I do some names, we could turn the Blacklight on and turn this writing party into a Blacklight party. If you want, we could get serious. I don't have a special like Blacklight playlist or anything, but what we got? Eskadam. Okay, I'm gonna try to connect the S to this K. Yep. We can do it. Deep breath. Okay. Escadam. I lost my hairline a little bit through here. MR yards. Thanks, Fozzie. I'm glad you like my M or my N. Sorry, I'm very far behind in the comments, I think. Maybe I'm not that far. Oh, I'm not that far. That's good. All right, MR Miares. Sorry, I apologize if I say your last name wrong. MR. Too close together. The space is tripping me out, and it shouldn't. Now another M. Whoa. Blobs on all three of those stems. What's causing that, you guys can see when I did it, I'd go this way. And it's because my writing position is funky. I'm going to try to go more to the left. Something's not feeling right today. And for that, I apologize. Some days are better writing days than other days. But if I'm having a bad writing day, I don't want to not write for this thing. Because we're here for education. MR, did I get them all? I quite like that. With some refining, I think that could be pretty cool. And it has a nice loop, loop, loop. Ideally, in a perfect world, those three would all match and your M's would be exactly the same. And the little loop between the M and the R would be a little bit more similar, those two. And that would be a little bit bigger shade placed in the right spot. Potential. What paper do I use? I'm not a huge fan of the paper I'm using today, but it's just cheap copy paper that holds or that takes most inks well. Today I'm using, if you're in North America, Staples. The product number is Staples 733333. 7 followed by 5 threes is the product number. And this is what I use for most of my handouts and stuff when I print them myself for people. And it works good, but it's not the best. It's quite thick, so it's hard to see through. If you have like a guide sheet or something underneath, this isn't the best kind of paper to write with. I'm not using a guide sheet underneath today, so we're just winging it. But it's decent paper. PK Miranda. How would I connect the P and the K? Ugh. It's tough to connect anything from the P because the P just kind of finishes. Trying to think. Gonna try something that history, if history has anything to say about it, won't work, but I'm gonna try it anyways. Okay. Oh, but then I have an M. No, my idea won't work. I'll try something else. want to go into this M. Ah! Darn it. I don't know what happened in here. My hand is acting all kinds of crazy today. Outer space. That's one possible way, I guess, of connecting the P and the K. If you don't mind the way that makes the K look. Sorry, I'm way behind in the chat, I think. MRMGW, when you get perfect letters, word spacing standard, would you please give us your verbal or written LOL word that you will get up and dance? Psh, I don't know that I'll dance on a penmanship live. Maybe one day, not today. Yeah, you guys eat popcorn, hang out. Stop chatting so much. Actually, you're not chatting that much. I'm not that far behind. Yeah, it's late for you, Colby. Thanks for hanging out. Sorry that these are too late. Sorry that we're not hanging out in person in a study room where we could do this super late. But have a good night, dude. Sleep well. Yeah, no problem, Vincent. You can put me on the spot. That's okay. That's what I mean. The way I want to do this, my goals for this require me to be able to do these types of things on the fly. So I have to get better at it eventually here. And the only way to get better at it is to practice it. Do I attach leather to every oblique holder I use? No, actually, this is the only one that I have that is leathered. I've done a few for customers. Some of my custom carved holders, people have requested leather wraps and stuff. But this is the only one, other than I did a few before this one because I was learning to do leather wrapping. But this is the only one that I have wrapped that I actually use. Okay. PK Miranda. Was that it for the... What more suggestions do we have here? What were those ones from the very beginning of the chat that you had? Is it Chantel? That was your name, right? Sorry, I'm not good at remembering. While I wait for that confirmation, let me go to Instagram. Oh, the first name on Instagram has a... I don't even want to try to say the last name. Cindy... SCHBREACHTKER. Blah. Right, Jila. I will try to do... I'm going to not do Cindy. I'm going to do a C into the S. You are very welcome. This is not... I really apologize today, you guys. My forms are all kinds of messed up. That is one heck of a last name. And I like that C going to the S aside from the way I wrote it. I'll do Gina real quick here. No connection required. That's one of those ones. Spacing wise, I should have started that farther to the right. Thank you very much. G's have been coming out of the pen. Tell you what I'm gonna do here, you guys. I didn't want to try to touch the camera, but things just seem crazy out of whack. And I want my writing, I want my writing to be better, darn it. So, give me 2 seconds to readjust my camera. Unfortunately, my tripod mount, I guess is the word, changes every week because I usually have to move my camera and my tripods around or my mounts around for product shots and stuff like that of leather things. I gotta keep my writing far to the left here so I don't go underneath my face cam. But maybe this will fix it and I can sit a little more comfortable and maybe write a little bit better. JK, I'm not even going to try to say last names, but I will try this one for Joanna. JKM. Okay. That feels a little better. And did I give myself enough room? MROCZEK. Yeah. Not mad at that one. Looks alright. One other thing that would have looked cool, I guess, when I look at my camera up there. This could have gone in a nice compound curve here, cut through the J and the K, and come down on the M. Could have looked pretty cool as well. Is it hard to attach leather onto a holder? It takes some figuring out. I mean, leather wrapping anything that isn't just a perfect flat or cylinder is a little bit challenging, takes some figuring out. I've kind of got it. I've got used to it. Why Aurora? Alright. Y into an A. Yeah, that should be alright. Oops. I'm gonna try that one more time because I feel like I messed that up. I'm gonna try Y Aurora one more time. I want to get that connection from the Y to the A cleaner. I like that idea. My baseline's kind of all over the place there, but this needs to come down here a little more and not be so that oval isn't so angled into that entry to the A, but something to practice. Okay. Regular flange or bullock flange? I've actually never used a bullock flange. I like regular flanges because bullock flanges they tend to be stiffer and much more difficult to modify, and I like to modify my flanges quite a bit from the way they come standard from the pen maker or from the factory if you get a store-bought one. So I personally, like I said, I've never actually used a bullock flange, so I don't have experience with them. And I don't really have any real desire to use one either. I like standard bendable, modifiable flanges. DRI. Wait, no lowercase letter at all, just capital DRI? No, DC, I could do your name. I'm doing signature-based names, so not full name, like full first name. I'm just doing like initials and last names. That format. So if you would like, yes, I can. As long as you're cool with it being in that format. DRI. No lowercase letters. There's no way nicely to get into the eye connected. Unless I did something really weird. This is an experiment. I could continue, I guess. DRI. If you'll allow additional requests, sure I will. Sorry I'm not talking as much right now, guys. I'm trying to think through these. I apologize. What do we got here? D. Kaminska. 2 capital letters. D. Kaminska. I can do that. Allows me to practice my D's as well, because they need work. D. Kaminska. Right on. other one too, just cause. Why not? P.R. Jacobson. P.R. This might be weird. Shoot. Getting a little too fancy in that P to R. That didn't really work like I had planned. You can never have too many snacks. Okay, what do we got? Dr. D. Castro. Ooh, let's try that one. Lowercase letters in the middle. Dr. D. Castro. DRDC. DDC. Ah, I got lost. I gotta get a new sheet of paper. I got confused where I was there. Sorry. Happens. I'm way behind in the chat, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take my mala off here. Bugging me. Okay. That's better, minus the snap. Dr. D. Castro. Oh, I guess I gotta put the R in there, right? Cool. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up in the chat, sorry. Do I change my pen grip when I change from Spencerian to copperplate? Yes, I do. For Spencerian, when I'm doing movement writing, if I do slow Spencerian or more modern Spencerian, I use the same grip as I use for copperplate or engrosser script. When I'm doing movement writing like I'm doing tonight, I use traditional grip with my knuckles up. When I'm doing engrosser script, copperplate, slower Spencerian, I use a modern grip with my hand to the side. So anything that's slower, I use this grip because I get a little bit more control. I would love to be able to do a lot of those styles. Like I'm trying to get the ability to do like Madara script or Signwriter script with a knuckle up grip with a little bit of movement, but I just don't have the control quite yet. But it's something I'm working on. I love that you guys are just chatting about snacks. It's amazing. Skinny chocolate, of course there's skinny chocolate. I ate skinny chocolate when I did the keto diet a couple years ago. For fun. Alright, what do we got here? Just a lot of conversation and chat about about snacks. Sweet and salty. How about we try B.A. Lewis? We can do that. some side chatter going on here between Warlock and Fozzie. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna try B.A. Lewis as well. I'm not gonna connect the B to anything because that seems to just be too much work. A little squishy on the L. B.A. Lewis. I'm stoked that since we started this live today, I haven't gone outside of my lines once. Which is awesome and fun for me. You're very welcome. It's not really official paper, it's just I have, because I print out so many handouts and stuff for my classes, it has my little stuff on the bottom. It's not my paper, I just print everything on my printer right here, and the program or my Illustrator already has this stuff in the file, so they didn't really need to be there, but they just end up being there. Keto was good for a while. I enjoyed it. After a while, I didn't really see the point. I wasn't losing weight. I didn't really need to lose weight at the time. I need to lose weight now, but I didn't at the time. I'll need to be in the coven. Oh, I'm not in the coven. I'm not cool enough to know what Fozzie and Warlock are up to over there. Breakfast, snacks, and penmanship. That's a good... That's what our themes are going to be for my live videos. It's not going to be like Q&As or signatures. I'm going to be like, today, we're talking about barbecue. Or today, we're talking about chip flavors. Things like that. Those are going to be my topics. MB Polidario. Okay, we can do that one. MVP. Polidario. Cool. Sorry that my baseline got a little wonky there. I also ran out of space. Uh-oh. One issue with the... Oh, I can't finish it with my short little understroke because it finishes above. I can give her one of those, though. MB Polidario. I wonder. I think it might have looked a little better if I did, instead of this big entry to the B, if I made a small one. Or maybe not. Maybe if this was all just spaced out a little more on a proper baseline, it would look a little bit better. So you gotta have a technique, George. You gotta have, your snacks have to be like a side. So you can go here and then you lean. You engage your core. It's all about posture training. And you move your core over to the side. And then you're in snack mode, and then you go back to writing, and you snack with your non-dominant hand always, so you don't get grease on your pen holder and whatnot. So you write here, move over, snack right here. Ink is far on the left side or on the right side because that's our dominant hand if you're right-handed. So there's no cross-contamination possible that way. Ah, capital letters behind the last name. So how would with the brother, would I write that as BDC BD Coretti FSC? Is that how that would be done in that instance? I'm not allowed to eat, period. I'm on a juice cleanse. I haven't had solid food for 5 days. So I couldn't eat and snack right now even if I wanted to. Tomorrow, I can snack. Next week, I'm going to get some snacks next week. For this show. But not for today. Unfortunately. Yeah, that's your daily workout. It's like doing a sit-up, kind of. Isolation exercise, working those are obliques. So you're working two kinds of obliques. You're working your oblique holder and you're working your side obliques as well. And snacking. So it's win-win, really, at the end of the day. All right. R.A. Buenaventura. Cool. That's a long one. I have to be careful. I haven't gone out of the... I was really nervous on Palidario that I was going to go out, but I managed to keep it in. This one is scary. We'll see if I can do R.A. Buenaventura. R.A.B. R.A.B. Regulus A. Black? Sorry. Harry Potter fans. What's going on? Not giving myself much space. There we go. Kind of works. The B's a little on the funky side, form-wise, but design-wise, I think that works. CP Zayner. A signature I've written many times, but I will do CP Zayner again. I'll try to keep it in the lines here. I'll try to do his most complicated one or his most difficult one. He has a few variations, but this is the famous one. I missed the cross of the P. Terribly. Completely missed the P coming across the stem there. I didn't go far enough. But that is the idea of CP Zayner's signature. Sorry to not do it perfect. I've done that one on camera better than this one quite a few times. If initials, then BRODL Coretti FSC. Oh my gosh! I don't know if I can keep that in the space here. I'm gonna try though. This is gonna have to be really tiny. BRODL Coretti FSC. Okay, let's see what we can do here. BRO stands for brother, right? It could go above, I guess, potentially above the start. But I'll try to keep it all in one line for now and see what we can do here. Super small. BRODL Coretti. This would have not normally stopped. I forgot where I was. Gone straight into the sea. Oh, FSC. I'm out of space though. No, I can't do it. I didn't make it. I had it all planned out how I was gonna do the FSC, but I didn't make it. That one's a little too long, I think, for a name card. I would have to do, I think I would want to do BRO up top, and then do down here DL Coretti FSC. I think. Because I just think it's, I mean, on a card, it's just going to be too small to look really good on a card, unfortunately. Darn it, I really wanted to get that one, though. Maybe I'll try one more time. I'm going to put the BRO on top, though, and see if that does anything. Or if that's allowed. I don't know if that's allowed. If it's not, I apologize. Still tight. Lots going on in there. Probably way too much. I'd have to think about that ending to clean that up a little bit. There's a little bit too much going on in there. I'd have to do maybe an S without a finished oval. An S that ends on a stem on the baseline. I'm glad you guys got my RAB reference. That RA. Yeah, Fozzie, you like that? I mean, technically, the A going through the R was an accident, but I like the way it looks in hindsight. But it wasn't intentional. Welcome, Jewel J.M. Chan. I feel like I've written J.M. Chan before, have I not? I mean, I will. That's not me saying I won't write it. But I've written that one before, haven't I? How do I want this to look? Who cares? Let's just wing it. Go to whole arm and get a loopy J here. What? Yeah, a little too much going on in certain parts of that one. I think I would have rather... I'm gonna try one more time. Just because I'm never gonna get to the end of this chat because I keep trying things multiple times. But I'm stubborn. Bottom of the page is never a good feeling. I think I like better. Yeah, that'll work. Ketchup and chat. I'm pretty sure I've done CP Zaner on. I think it's on my. I've done it on my feed at one point, and I must have done it at some point during one of my lives as well. Maybe one of the IGTV ones. It's a signature that I write quite often these days. I've been trying to perfect it, so I do it quite a bit. Yeah, they did have the titles very much smaller. You are correct. All caught up. There we go. Akil. A K I L. Sounds good. Oh, I have to do some of the ones from Instagram as well. I should probably do that pretty quick here. Maybe. I guess I don't have to. There's no rule. Pretend that didn't happen. We're gonna try again. I cannot do 2 A's back to back that look good today, nor is this even close to centered on this card. Imagine that was about here on the card. Whoopsies. You're welcome, Jewel. Yeah, I would normally, for brother, it's like Mr. and things like that. I would normally put it in capital letters, and I usually would put it inside the first entry oval. I would put things like that inside there. Designations and whatnot. Yeah, A's are... That is not a pretty A. The first A, I quite like. I was doing good last week with the A's. Today, not so much. My arm is not feeling okay today. Are these going to be added? Probably not. I mean, I won't save these. There's a couple that I like in here that I might rewrite to save, but most of them, these papers will be, once they're dry, flipped over, and I'll probably use the other sides for the same kind of practice again. They don't have guides printed on the other side, but I might chuck them in the printer, print guides on the second side, on the back side, and then use them again for practice. Because the whole point of this, if anybody didn't know, I'm pretty sure most of you are aware, but the whole point of these lives, not just for me to be entertaining and fun, that's the bonus part, to hang out with you guys, but it's practice for me. And unfortunately, my practice today is not doing very well. It's more of mental connections and that kind of creative practice rather than my hands not getting too much good practice today, unfortunately. And there's online classes going now too. Busy, busy. Everybody's busy with. There's so much stuff going on online right now. Can I do ASL Castro? Really? You really gonna make me work that hard, Fozzie? ASL Castro. I'll see what I can do here. I gotta think. Everything with the S so far today is throwing me for a loop for some reason. Okay. We'll see how this works. Oh, it's so frustrating when I don't like my own writing. Okay, don't like the way that S was in there. Don't like how that was designed. Give me 1 second here. Why can't I write a good S today? What is happening to me? Still a lot going on, but that one is a little better. Did my ink go on the floor? Oh, what? Oh, don't spill your ink on the floor. That, I think the only issue, the entry to the L, cutting through, we get a little bit busy here inside the S, which I'm not a huge fan of. The S should also be closer to the A, but I was nervous for hitting that point. Luckily, the hardest part of the whole thing I hit. The rest isn't quite as, nice as it could be. But there's ASL Castro. It works. Alright, I'm gonna do some Instagram signatures now, so I'm just gonna say right now, I'm gonna stop taking live chat requests and I'm gonna start doing some of the Instagram ones. So I can just watch you guys chat. And I can keep up a little bit better with the chat that's going on here than I have been. Ooh, they're making me work on Instagram too. I already did Cindy, so let's do Suirtas. I'm not gonna try to pronounce people's names because I will just do it wrong. S.de, that's super short. Can I somehow connect? Not really. These are just gonna have to be overlapped. S.de. Thank you for the support, Vincent. I appreciate the cheer. I had an internal cheer. I didn't celebrate out loud like I normally would with that one. I think I was just stressed out about the S, L, and C coming right after it. What I got here? Would you recommend practicing traditional grip with just a pencil? You can, if you've never used it before. But the one issue, and I'm all for practicing drills and stuff with pencils, but I think it's important to, if you're going to transition to a traditional grip, I think it is important to get used to the pressure of a nib. Um, so if you're going to use a pencil when you're transitioning, I would use a pencil just until holding a knuckle up grip is comfortable. Then once that's comfortable, I would start using a nib until to train your hand to stay light with this grip. So you can keep nice hairlines for drills and stuff like that. Once you've trained a light hand and you no longer have to train your hand to be light, like I, for example, no focus goes into my training on keeping my hand light because my hand is now, after the years, naturally just very, very light. My hairlines are very fine. So I can now practice with a pencil, and I'm not going to be applying extra weight to the pencil. I'll be using the same as with a nib. Whereas if you use just pencil too much before nib, then you're not training that lightness of hand. So I guess boils down to, if you have a light hand, then cool, use a pencil for training drills and stuff with movement. But I think it's important to sort of train the light hand and the movement kind of together, in my opinion. Just because if you don't have a light hand, even the movement with a pencil, you're going to be pressing down too hard, and everything here is not going to be as relaxed as you want it to be. So from the get-go, you want to start with as light of a hand as possible. So that's kind of maybe a good starting point, is to get your hand super light. And the best way to do that is to use a nib, because you know every time you put in weight, you're going to hit a snag. SDE worked. I'm proud of that one. Had an extra space, I could get a little snazzy on the exit stroke. How important do you find the curvature of your pen holder where you grip? I've seen ergonomic holders, but I'm still a novice. Um, Honestly, the ergonomic holders are cool. Round holders are cool. I personally prefer just a plain round holder. I like the vintage holders. If you find that you are wanting to use an ergonomic holder and you find that's more comfortable in your hand than a traditional round one, then by all means, I think ergonomic holders are great. Um, I've held a few ergonomic holders that force me to have my hand in a grip that I don't want to use. Like, some will push my hand to a modern grip when I want to use traditional. Others will push me traditional if I want to use modern, and so on. So it all comes down, for me, comes down to a holder that is super comfortable in your hand, regardless of the shape, the cut, the thickness, and things like that. I prefer the thin, round, traditional holders, but as long as the holder is comfortable in your hand, then the rest comes down to modifying the flange so that it lays the ink down nice on the table. But I don't think it's important, like, it's not more or less beneficial one way or the other. I think it's just what you find comfortable, is what I believe. Fun fact, you say don't get Michael Saul started on ergonomic holders. He has. He doesn't call it an ergonomic holder, but he calls it a comfort holder, and it is insanely comfortable for a modern grip, for a hand turned to the side grip. He has one of his personal holders. He did little grind points everywhere his fingers touch, so it's specifically, it's comfort. It's perfect for his hand. It doesn't force his wrist over anywhere. It's super comfortable. I have one of those as well, actually. Let me see if I can find it here. It's very subtle, but this is a comfort holder, or technically an ergonomic holder, and all it is this was just a cheap holder. I carved a little nib into the tail of it, but it has. Let me get focus going here. It has, you can see a little ground spot right there that my thumb sits. It has one up top here that my index finger sits, and then one down here that my middle finger rests in. So it is ground or sanded, modified specifically for my grip. My grip has changed a little bit since I ground this, and I've modified this again so that it's a little more updated. But technically, this is not extreme ergonomics, but this is an ergonomic holder. But if you see another example, let me grab one here. So here's a vintage holder, one that I would consider an extreme ergonomic holder. You can see that super wide there, weird flat on this top part. So this is a traditional, this is vintage from, I would assume, late 1800s, early 1900s, probably late 1800s, holder. And the reason I got it, well, I don't use it very often. It's nice and light, which I like, and it's quite long. But when I hold it naturally, when I just grab it, the way the flange is, and this is a rather stiff flange, I don't modify my vintage flanges, but the way this flange is set up, it's already just naturally my grip, pretty much. It fits very natural to how I would normally hold a pen. So that's why this ergonomic holder works for me. It doesn't force my hand over any direction, which some do, some don't. So it's a personal question. There's not really one answer for it, unfortunately. On average, I go thin and round, but I have some ergonomics. I have some other ones here. I don't know where they are. Pen holders are all over the place. Ooh, lots of chat, sorry. Can we use a knuckle-up grip for engrossers as well? I think you can. I mean, I think you can use any grip for any hand. I think for engrosser script, your fingers, you have a lot of control with your shades with a modern grip. So I think with a hand to the side grip, you have a little bit more control, but there's no reason you can't do it with a traditional grip. I just find when I'm going slow using a traditional grip, I don't have the same amount of control as I do when I use a side grip. I just feel much more in control, excuse me, with a modern grip. What else we got here? Check. How do you train your hand to be light? There's no proper, real answer. I would say, and this is potentially how do you learn to swim? Or how do you teach your kid to swim? Chuck them in a pool and they'll swim. The most hardcore way to train your hand to be light is to get a nib that is either a little bit scratchy or just a fine, any nib. You could even use a Nico G. They're pointy enough. But if you get a fine nib and you just try to do movement or all writing and just be focused on making sure you're creating hairlines and you're not applying any weight, and you want to be focused on that, that should be your intention until you don't have to think about it anymore, until it's just totally natural to be able to use a super, or to create a super nice hairline. You'll snag the paper a lot, you'll get a lot of nib snaps and things like that, especially if you're doing just like ovals. For light hand, I would get a nib. You don't even need ink really, but you can dip it in ink if you want, and you just want to do nice and light. If you have ink on your pen, just hairline, no shades at all. And then you want to, as you're watching yourself write, you want to make sure you're creating the finest hairlines the nib you're using is capable of. If they're thicker than what the finest hairline your nib is capable of, then it means you're applying weight somewhere, either on a downstroke, somewhere you're pressing in too much. If you're snagging into the paper on your upstrokes, it means you're applying weight on your upstrokes. So you just have to keep fighting that. It's like skipping rope. How do you learn to skip rope? You skip rope and you hit your feet until you learn and you train to always jump at the right time, and then you stop hitting the rope and you can skip. So you just have to practice the light hand and always be mindful of it. Don't let yourself fall into the habit of applying weight. You want to be as light as possible all the time. And then once that's sort of habitual or natural for you, then you don't have to think about it anymore. And it's just one less thing to stress about, which is awesome. The less we can stress about, the better. Yeah, your holder should fit. It should feel like super comfortable. Good example. I was actually going to write with this one today, but I opted out. So this is, let me get focus again. This is a piece of driftwood from Geneva on the Lake in Ohio, where Platt Roger Spencer was born and where he sort of invented Spencerian script. This is a piece of driftwood that I just picked up a bunch of wood that day, and naturally, before there wasn't a nib in it, I put a nib in it. It fits super comfortable in my hand like this. It just cradles. But, fun fact, when I first picked it up, I thought this was super comfortable. I was like, oh, this fits in my hand perfectly. I can put a flange right there, and it fits. Like, my thumb is in here nice. I'm using my regular grip. I can carve in a flange right there. And then I thought this side of the holder doesn't look as good as that part. That's just a nice little creative thing or artistic thing. So I found that when I turned it over, it feels just as comfortable. It was a little more nerve-wracking to put the flange in because it's finer here. There's not as much wood to mess with. But I just then drilled a hole or sawed and put in just a bare flange in there. So now I can use it and it's set up for my current grip and everything. But it's just a piece of wood that is super comfortable in my hand. I just chucked a metal flange in. But what it came down to when I picked it up on the beach, it was, how does this feel in my hand? Another piece of driftwood that happens to be right here. I didn't get these out. I was cleaning up today and this ended up right beside my desk. This is another one. This funky shape here, which for a long time I tried to find a way that it fit comfortably for an oblique holder, and it worked kind of that way, but it was a little too vertical. And then I found, I don't do a lot of it, but for flourishing, like birds and feathers and things, you use a straight holder and you use this type of a grip. You shade on the throw stroke. And I found that if I held this little piece of wood, there's a spot for my thumb right there, and there's actually a little divot in the back right here that my index or my middle finger sits in. And I can hold the pen like this, and I can write like this, and I can do thrown shades and birds. I don't use it very often because I don't do flourishing that style very much. I need to practice it more. But this is one of my flourishing pens. But it was comfortable this way, so I turned it into, I drilled a hole and put a flange in there so that it could hold a straight flange, because it was comfortable. So yeah, you find something that's comfortable, make that work for you, and you're good. You'll never really be sad with that. Sorry, that was a lot of talking. Where are we here? I got lost in the chat. My apologies. Yes, Michael Saul prefers a round holder because he manipulates and twists quite a lot when he's writing, where the round is extremely better, more beneficial for that. I've never used one of Connie's holders. I don't buy a lot of holders these days. I have too many already. But again, if they're comfortable, then that's perfect. If they fit good in your hand, then they're the perfect pen for you. Dipping or ink loaded. Wait. Oh, have I? For signature writing in general, he's asking about the speed that I dip. I pretty much quick dip most of the time anyways, because when I'm doing big shades like this, I find that I always want ink, and my hairlines are good enough. One, if you're going slowly and you dip quick, if you get too much ink, like if you're doing engrosser script, or if I was doing these signatures slowly and I had too much ink, as I'm pulling through, there's more time for the ink to go down into the paper and to blob into to hit other hairlines and things like that. Whereas when I'm going quick, I can't really have too much ink on my nib. It doesn't really blob out that much. Certain inks, thicker inks, I have to be careful with the white inks that I don't get too much under there. But usually with movement writing, I kind of always dip fast. I don't do a shake afterwards to get excess ink off. I get pretty much as much ink as I can get under my nib, so that I can get through as many capitals as possible. The old Leonard principles were dope. I mean, and they could be dope again. I mean, there's different batches. You never know when one's going to be dope or not. Unfortunately, you just kind of learn to use all of them. But the Leonard principle in general, if you're working on a light hand, Leonard principle, I mean, the Gelot 303 is super sharp. So if you want a really light hand, learn to do all hairline flourishing with a 303 and you'll have a beautiful, crisp, light hand. Okay. Yeah, that one is a little sharp tooth shaped. Okay, here we go. Let me get back to my writing here. I think I'm caught up in the chat. My current everyday nib is the Hot 101. I like it the most these days. I still use my Leonard principles. I bought a few hundred some years ago, so I have some good ones. But I've been using primarily the Hunt 101 these days. That's what I'm using today. To me, they end up being kind of the same a lot of the times. Escadam. Did I do that one earlier? I did that one earlier today in this chat. MA, my friend MA. AJMD. Ugh, 4 capitals. All right, here we go. AJMD. I slowed down. I shouldn't have slowed down. Ran out of space. Here we go. And she has, oh, which one? This one. The second E on her last name has an accent aigu or accent grave. I can't remember. My French is weak. I mean, I'm assuming manuscript changed it because there was probably complaints, or I'm assuming in the machining of it there was some issues keeping quality control with their machining, so they probably made some they probably made some tweaks to it to make the machining a little more quality control friendly, would be my guess, which is totally understandable because making super flexible, super fine nibs is a challenge. I would assume. Never tried. Don't really understand the machining of it, but I would assume it's rather difficult. Okay. R.S. Takawale. Apologize if I'm saying last names wrong. Here we go. S's today, ladies and gentlemen. S's. We all have bad days, and my S's are just not friendly today. How can I go into the cop out for what I'm trying to do for the S? I'll show you what the cop out is, which is what I don't always want to do. I want to be able to connect them and make them cool. But this would be oh, running out of space. Taco, W-A-L-E. Risk. Running out of room, running out of room. A lot of these are getting this treatment. Give them a nib. Risk. Too much space between the R and the S. But that's basically how you... I don't have a good way of connecting the S. Sometimes I get lucky and I hit the crazy ideas that are in my brain. But they're not consistent enough, unfortunately. It's never too late to do more calligraphy. E.S. Nimbalkar. Okay, E.S.N. Another S in the middle. Yeah, we're gonna have to cop out again. I don't feel confident enough today. I'm gonna run out of space again. Is there fiber? Something's not right. That works. E.S. Nimbalkar.the. Alright, that was for Maker's favorite something. The name is cut off. I'm going to stir my ink real quick. It's been sitting for a while, and it's probably separated a little bit. Haha, that one. Fat swell. Fat R swell. All right. There we go. Should be good now. Thank you, Fuzzy. That S is alright. They're not amazing. Unfortunately, I had a really awesome writing week. Like a week and a half, a week ago, last week, was a dope writing week. So my standard is up high, and we're not reaching it today. Every once in a while we are, but my S's aren't looking as good as they could. Ha! Warlock, about the ink free. So people ask me, I get asked by artists all the time. Because I paint, when I used to have a shoe painting business and I paint murals. And when I painted murals, actually, all those four big walls that I painted, I had a bet with the studio owner that I did them. It's a good friend of mine, but she never understood how I was never painty, and I just told people, I said, I don't get painty, and with calligraphy, I don't get inky. It's there's no reason. The only thing that gets me dirty, and it's frustrating because I've tried to fix it over so many years, because I was into it before I was into calligraphy. When I use fountain pens, no matter what I do, there's always green or blue or ink somewhere on my hands. And unlike calligraphy ink, fountain pen ink stains, so it's frustrating. But when I write, the only ink that it's here on my paper towel. Every once in a while I get a little on my face because I spit into my paper towel and old ink from the paper towel, but that's rare. But on my fingers, I rarely get any. I mean, every once in a while on like my middle finger, if it goes through a hairline or something, it'll pick up some, but I don't get dirty. I'm clean. I'm a clean artist. Some artists don't trust clean artists. If you don't show up to an art event with paint all over your pants, they don't think you're a real artist. And I'm an artist, always have been, always will be, but none of my clothes have ink or paint on them. None. I think it's because most of the arts that I do they're meticulous, so there's no reason to get ink on myself doing this type of stuff. I'm not splashing or throwing, or everything's controlled. In my head anyways. But yeah, any fountain pen, ink all over me. Filling it, I could be super careful and I'll later be like, oh, there's like a green on my forearm or something. Fountain pen ink, it's magic. It's incredible. Well, some of the Noodler's inks are pretty hardcore and tough to get off. I mean, but most of fountain pen inks in general are pretty resistant. E.P. Oxenfeld. That's a cool last name. Oxenfeld. Good morning, Bernice. Welcome to, oh gosh, it's already 11:40. We've been going for a while today. This is the longest on YouTube thus far. I still got a whole bunch of Instagram names to get to here. E.P. Oxenfeld. We're just going to keep going. I got lots of energy. I'm going to do that same E again. Can't connect the O, unfortunately, in this one, but that's okay. Oh, and I shouldn't have shaded that last stroke on the P. Rookie mistake. Because now I want to put my O through the P, but I can't. Because of the, I'll cross two shades. Darn it. Rookie mistake. It would have been nice to get something up there, but that's okay. That'll work. Oh, clean artists do exist. 100%. I'm proof. People comment all the time that I rarely have. Or usually it's when I have ink on my fingers. Oh, another time I get ink on my fingers. I use the same paper towel many, many times, and obviously the ink bleeds through. So when I'm cleaning my nibs, if I'm using an old paper towel, sometimes my index finger on my left hand will get ink on it. In fact, it's a little dark right now. It's not so much, I mean, it's wiped off ink. But that'll pick up ink from time to time because I clean my nibs so often, that from the paper towel. Every once in a while, there'll be a little smudge on my index finger. Do I have nightmares? No, I don't have nightmares about crossing shades. It's something I don't do. Shades don't cross. We don't do it. Nightmares can't happen because it doesn't happen. It's one of those things. It doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. It doesn't happen. Yeah, I messed up the O. One of these days I'll learn to do a good O. Some days it works. I find when I do a double shaded O and don't try to... I'm trying to do traditional where I do a hairline and then the O, the shade is the second stroke. I get more issues there than if I were to shade both. But shading both would have been too much shade in this instance. Shout out to Clean Artists. That's another shirt. Not shout out to Clean Artists. I have to think of another cool tagline. But it's another society. The Clean Artist Society. We have to exist. It's like a unicorn walk up and you'd be like, unicorns exist? See? Irrefutable proof. Irrefutable? Yeah. Boom, vocabulary. Scrabble. Sorry. Ottoman rose. Stains. Yep. They have to be real. Okay, what do we got? Who's next? B.A. Rivera. Oh, connecting. I can't connect the B, or can I? Can I connect the B? No, you can't connect a B to an A. Not using the B that I want to use anyways. Unless... I'm gonna try. Maybe you can. You probably can. I'm being dramatic. My apologies. B.A. Rivera. Oh, messed up that last shade. Too long. The reason that was too long, if you want to know what's going on in my brain, as I was coming along here, my brain thought, make sure you make this shade long enough that you cross all the way over this hairline so you don't end up doing the shade right here, which is where it naturally would fall. But I noticed it too late. The way to solve that is I would have brought this A down lower and done the shade here. So I would have started from this direction, but too little too late, so that shade ended really long. It's really quick, in that fraction of a second, your brain goes, hey, fix it! And then it's too late to fix it. Unfortunately. My brain thinks quick, but not that quick. Itchy head. Messy creatives. Creatives are messy, sort of on average. And artists and painters are messy on average. They just don't have to be. Be nice to your saucepans, guys. C.W. Lee. Here we go. C.W. Lee. Ooh, look where those three lines intersected sort of perfectly. Looks like a beach ball in there. Will that work? I'm getting too creative for my own good right now. This is where I should not do what I'm about to do. But I'm gonna do it anyways. Because why not? Messed up the top of the L. But the idea was there. C.W. Lee. W.S. Kowalska. Doing everybody's name. All those Instagram people better come and watch this video to see their names being written. Mm-hmm. They better. They better. I'm gonna try something on W.S. Kowalska. I'm gonna see if I can make it work. Yeah. Let's see. You guys will see it happen if I hit it. If I don't, well, you'll see it not happen. Yeah, kinda. W.S. Kowalska. Kind of the idea. I wanted to have this little, like, a reverse point inside, right a little closer up there. And it kind of worked. Messed up the entry into the K, though. Oh, definitely not bald under my hat. We got hair going on. Never used any of the... I don't have a TWSBI. I've never used a TWSBI pen. They look nice. I've never purchased one. J.R. Hernandez. J.R. Hernandez. There we go. Want to see a pretty pen? I'll show you guys a pretty pen. Show and tell. If I can find it. I haven't shown it on the internet yet. It's one of the ones I got when I was at the Philadelphia Pen Show in January? No, February. Look how pretty that is. And it has a giant gold nib on it. It has a crazy extra fine point on it. And the reason I bought this specific pen for this nib was the nib. With this pen, you can see a little bit. The nib is inside, so it's recessed ever so slightly. So I can have my fingers slightly closer to the point of the nib, which using... I believe this is number 6. When you're using a nib this big, that's one of the issues I have with fountain pens, is my hand feels very far away from the nib point. So I bought this pen specifically so that the nib could be recessed in a little bit and be a little bit closer to my hand. I don't know if there's ink in here right now. I was using this for business penmanship the other day, but I think I dried it up. I gotta refill it. But I'll do a writing sample with this and post it on the gram one of these days. But it's a pretty one. It's a Franklin Christoph pen. I bought two from them when I was at the show. I'll show you the other one too. The other one's more subdued. It's just classy. It's like a smoky, not green, but there's a hint of green in it. And it's just smoky and beautiful in all one color. And the same nib can go on this one, but currently it has a cursive italic nib, I think, in it right now, or an italic, I don't know the names properly, that I use for really tiny ghetto ancho. Same model, so that, again, the large nib is recessed into the holder. And yeah, it has that marble effect. It's pretty. Yeah. Those are my two pens. Two recent pens. I have a lot of fountain pens. I don't post them much about them because I have a ton. Not a ton, just a lot. I like me a good fountain pen, but I need my fountain pens to be extra fine. Nib grinders always look at me like I'm crazy when I ask for my custom fountain pen nibs, because most fountain pen users wouldn't enjoy the fineness that I ask for. And most nib grinders are nervous grinding them for people because the chances of those people wrecking them are very high when they're not used to using a super fine point. Yeah, fountain pens are a rabbit hole. Everything in this hobby is a rabbit hole. What are we talking? I'm going to do a re-blackening of a bunch of my vintage fountain pens soon here. And I haven't decided. May or may not film it. We'll see how I go. Elmer T. Fudd. Now, I'm going to take off the Elmer. We're just going to go E.T. Fudd. E.T. Fudd. We'll use our same E that we were using earlier just because I like it today. E is one of the best letters to start a signature with, just because you can tuck your entry stroke for the next capital right in there. It's perfect. It's built for it. It's built to be a starting letter. How do I want to go into the FUD though? Here's what we're going to do. There we go. E.T. Fudd. There are too many beautiful looking fountain pens out there. I mean, I'm an avid goer to fountain pen shows. There's some of my... They were what I did before Iampeth. I was into fountain pens and I used to go to the shows. LA Pen Show was my home show. I go to the Philly Pen Show, or I try to, every year. A. Zurek. Alright. AAZ. AZ is dressing me up today. Let's see if I can... Whoa. Where'd my ink go? What happened? What happened? Yeah, my paper's all messed up. Sure, we'll do it that way. AA Zurich. That'll work. You don't have to sell it. You could always have the nib ground. You can send the nib away or send the pen away to like a nib smith to grind it for you. That's normally what I do. The best way for that, unfortunately they're not happening now, but if you can get to a pen show, then you can have them grind it there on the spot and you can hold it and make sure it's good enough for you. SR Payarito. I think I may not be saying that right. Always. SR Payarito. Start with a fancy S here. Where do I want my O to be? Maybe no entry to the R. That'll work. And then no entry to the P. The P the same. Keep it clean. Don't misspell. P-H-A-A-R-O. Might run out of room. Outer space. Sweet. I like that one. Simple, nice and clean. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 12 o'clock. You know what that means? Anybody know what that means? Give my nib a good clean in here. I can't believe it's 12 o'clock. 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. 3 hours? I didn't have to count that way to count to 12. That was silly. But tell you what we're going to do. Because it's 12 o'clock. Coffee time. Huh? I'm not allowed to drink coffee or tea. I haven't had tea in a week. That's crazy. I drink so much green tea. The fact that I haven't drank any tea this week is banana pants. But no. What we're going to do... writing with a crow feather is challenging. This is going to be fun. 12 o'clock. We're going to swap to, I'm going to continue doing IG names, but I'm going to change. Oh. Apparently that watch has an alarm on it. I need to turn that off. We're going to change to ivory paper. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Google, turn off studio. Okay, Google, turn off desk.
Okay, turning off the desk lamp.
Okay, Google, turn on glow. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you guys can even see me anymore. We're going blacklight, folks. It's midnight. We're turning this into a blacklight party. Ain't no party like a blacklight party. Just get my light situated here. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Can I get that closer? That'll work. Okay, let me... Yes, I remembered what I call my blacklight this time. It was a bit of an issue in the past. Can you guys see me? You guys totally can't see me. Sorry. Glow light is a little far away. I was hoping that I could have it so you guys could see my face as well as the glow light. But I'm not sure if that's going to be possible. Let me see what I can do here. Get the light nice and close to the writing, because that's important. I apologize if this is ridiculous, but I want to try it. I'm going to max the brightness on my camera just to see if you guys can see me or not. You might. Unfortunately, no more face. That's okay. You guys don't need to see my face. We'll get out. We have here, speaking of noodlers, we got Blacklight ink in. Oh, that looks cool. I need like a white hat. Hello, Sunil. You're very welcome, Joanna. Thanks for hanging out with us. Okay, continuing. I can't see my guides anymore in the camera, but we're going to continue doing our names here. With who is next? Victor Lawrence. Oh, that's for Martha. Wrong format. V. Lawrence. Okay, V. Laurens. Yeah, my glasses glow a little bit, but not very much. Wow, and it's really dark in here. I just fully dipped my entire holder right into my ink. I'm not paying attention. Okay, V. Lawrence, here we go. Hopefully I'm in frame. That's showing up? Yeah, sweet. There's V. Lawrence. Next, wow. I'm not gonna say that one out loud. That's one of my good friends from high school. Being a practical joker. I will do his second one. He gave me a couple. He wanted BLT. BLTEA. So we'll do that one just for fun. Yay, does this look good from your guys' standpoint? I hope so. BLT. Whoa, a moth just flew into my blacklight. We have a creature in the studio today with us. Okay, what do we got next? W.G. Harris. Alright. Is this for Gray Harris? Yeah, this is for Gray. Okay. W.G. Harris. I don't know how to go from the W into the G, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to overlap them and not connect them, I think, today. That's an S, not a G. Darn it. Pretend that didn't happen. And a bad S too. You're not supposed to focus on the bad ones, but that is a bad one. Okay. Let's try that again, shall we? I want this light. I'm going to try to move the light a little bit. Alright. I've never actually ran or used a light in one of my lives yet. I've done it for videos. Oh, that's better. That's a little closer. Cool, that's better. WG, Mike, not WL. This ink, since you guys were talking about Noodlers a moment ago, this is Noodler's Blue Ghost ink. And this bottle is old. I bought this years and years ago. Oh, I guess it would be smart to probably use a different variation of the G, actually. That is a big moth. Just landed on my desk. It's right there. I'm pointing, but you can't see me. Two R's? Yeah. Sweet. I like that one. That turned out nice. W.G. Harris. Sorry, I haven't been looking at the chat at all. Mistakes are learning moments. Yes, but the only thing I learned when I made that mistake was to pay more attention to what I'm supposed to be writing. But yes, you are correct, Fozzie. It should not get an unhappy face. You're not supposed to focus on the bad parts. There are happy accidents and whatnot. I was just grumpy. Grumpy Mike. Okay, what do we got next? Ooh, a long one. R.A. Buenaventura. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I wrote that one already during R.A. Buenaventura was watching. I wrote that earlier, so I will skip that one. What else we got here? Daria wants hers. D. Shelemkova. Okay, she put her whole name, but I'm going to cut the Daria. Oh yeah, that was R.A.B. Right. Okay, D. Shelomkova. DS. Okay, how are we gonna go into this S? I really want it. Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time. I keep trying for this S, and it hasn't worked once yet today. Everybody cross your fingers for me. It's really not that hard. I don't know why I can't do it. Like, why does it's this oval? Why can't it just go over there like it's supposed to? Why does it gotta get all wonky shaped? I'm gonna try again. That's so frustrating. Oh, here's that hard-hitting song again. D, S. So that S. Yeah, that's not hard. I can do that. That is completely in my ability. I gotta keep this small because that is a very long last name. Did it again, but I don't care. D. Shalom Kova. Ugh, that S. I will figure that one out. I'm gonna, maybe that'll be a challenge for this week for myself. To drill that entry into the S a little more. L. Lee. L.L.E.E. 2 L's. Okay, well, we gotta make them fancy somehow. So that's very short. Okay, got it. Maybe. Yeah. And we're gonna do a reverse loop, just for fun. I like that one. Whoop whoop. Off the margin, we'll give that a little happy face and an arrow. One of my favorite things to do with Blacklight ink, and if you've ever got a letter from me, I know most of you probably haven't, and I haven't written letters in a long time. I have a clear fountain pen that is full. I'm gonna come close to the light so you can see me. It is full of Blacklight ink all the time, and I used to write letters to people, and then all around the letters, I would draw, like as an example. I'll try not to get my finger in LM Lee, but I would draw little stickmen all over the place. Like, you could draw them like hanging from things or sliding along things. I used to draw them all over the place on letters or on things. I would just, not graffiti so much because they're epically tiny, but I used to just draw little stick figures all over the place with Blacklight. So if people used to get letters from me years ago, I don't usually tell people when I do it. Envelopes, a lot of them have Blacklight stick figures on them. I need to get back. Now that I have my envelopes, I'm going to get back into letter writing, and I'm going to start doing that again. This moth is still just chilling here. What up, moth? You enjoying our midnight Blacklight vibes? Welcome to the party. Jay Weideman. Who's getting me to do Jake's name? It wasn't him or Hannah. Digitus Mattius. Is that one of them? Do they have another account that I don't know about? Okay. Gotta do a master penman's name. Stress. Okay. We're gonna go whole arm movement here for a sec. We'll raise the elbow off the table to get a super loopy J. That. Now if I can just fit the lowercase letters in here, we're good. And because I ran out of space and he's a penman, give him one of these. Yeah. Jay Weidman in the house. That one actually turned out really pretty. Blacklight signatures look so dope. J's are, I'm not going to say my favorite letter, but if you've heard me talk about them before, because of the entry and the exit, the way that I do them, they are probably the most fun. Sorry, I'm trying to get close to the light so you can see me talk. I could do this every time I talk. The J's are really fun. They're really super playful. Okay, who we got next? We're almost done these. Oh, this person, they say the initial format doesn't work for theirs. So the first name, oh, they can't do it. The A comes second. Interesting. Ojaswini A. Ojaswini A. Okay, so an O with some lowercase letters and an A. I've never done a signature with one capital, a bunch of lowercase, and then another capital. This will be interesting. Totally. That could be another theme. We'll do campfire stories with Mike. Because this could also just be like I could get like a candle light here instead of a black light. We could do all sorts of different things. Doesn't have to be party time. Blacklight is just going to be my, anytime my light night lives go past midnight, blacklight. Maybe that's what it is. If we hit midnight, it has to go blacklight. That's just the rule. I think I like that. Oh, just Sweeney. Oh, yeah, Sweeney. Okay. Double shaded O, I think, for this one. Yeah. Make sure I don't spell anything wrong. And then going into an A. Boom. Oh, gotta dot that other eye. Here we go. Fun. Ideally, all those shades would match and be exactly the same. Alright, what's next? Chahar. Echar. Okay. Chahar. We'll keep using the fancy, called the signature E, Lozer's E, because it works so good in signatures. EC, right? Yeah, EC. Ah, perfect example of when I messed up the shape of that compound curve. Got too excited. Oh, you're here. Perfect time. Sorry, I haven't been correlating the names I'm reading to the people that are chatting. I'm paying attention to both, and my brain, I feel like, is in two different places. Okay, now this ink takes an insanely long time to dry, so we'll set that carefully to the side and grab a new sheet. I like that rule. If the live goes past midnight, party time. I should have a playlist. The playlist has to change too. Maybe I'll make like a whole video transition that if it's hit midnight, it's like party time. Sorry everybody. I'm very self-entertained all the time. Okay. Chahar. Radhika only has a last name. Okay, we will just write that one name then. Radhika. No connections necessary. Radhika. We gotta give it a fancy R then in that case. Here we go. Sweet. It's harder to judge my spacing, as far as where I am in the little box. There are printed guides on this one too, but I can't see them very well. And it's, the writing, because it's memory, this is, I guess, a testament to whenever you hear teachers say you should have a perfect image in your mind of what you're trying to create, that kind of works now. I can't really see where I'm going, I mean, I can a little bit, but it's all kind of in your brain, creating the forms, and your muscles are just creating the image that's in your head onto the paper. Okay, S.C. Barui. Okay, S.C.B.A.R.U.I. We're not going to connect the S. Are we? How can we do this? Okay, I'm going to try something. If I go into the S with a compound curve instead of a regular entry oval, this may not work, but we're going to try it anyways. Now we, in theory, can go from here. Nope. The idea works, my writing does not. SC. Okay. Option number 2 then. That is a possible option. I don't think I'll be able to hit it today. The other option, we talked about this one earlier. I haven't done it yet today. If I leave a little more space in between my horizontal ovals, I should be able to SCB. Okay. Like so. Is how you can do that one. B-A-R-U-I. No shade on the end of that one. Keep it simple. All right. A.D. Karali. Oh, that's Ash. That's Ashcon. No, that's Ash. Ash is not here. I was going to say, that's Ashcon was here. But he's gone. But this is not Ashcon. This is Ash. A.D. Okay. This one's pretty straightforward. Or should be anyways. We will see. K-A-R-A-L-E. all the way underlined. Why not? Finish with a bang. What we got? 4 more, and we're finished. Oh, the phone shut off. How are we doing in the chat? Well, it is fun. I won't call it easy. It is definitely fun. And it's easy in the way that, I mean, it's not stressful. It's not hard like muscles hard or anything like that. You could try it 1,000 times and you're not expending really any more energy. It happens very naturally. CN Silvana. Okay. How to do the N into the S. I don't know how to do. Let's see what happens. Let's just go for it. Ran out of ink. Criminal. Still in that shit. Don't tell anybody. Okay. Into this S, what am I going to do here? You know what I'm going to try? This might not work. Okay, we want that upstroke to come right here. In theory. Okay, now that'll work. Silvana? Yeah. Boom. Fun connection. That one could be even better with a little more play, but I quite like that. Thanks, Fozzie. I gotta get better. One thing that does happen when I come out of that S, specifically going into these connections, because I'm focusing on where they're finishing, you can see every time I've done this so far today, it goes down here and then goes, whoop. It has this rather abrupt down and up instead of finishing. This oval doesn't stay horizontal into that one, which is one thing. I mean, that's just a traffic that I have never practiced, so it's not in my muscles. But if I want to do that type of style more often, I'm going to have to practice that one. FD Alguera. I've been trying so hard to come up with a signature with a few strokes. Well, it's just a few strokes. Does that mean we got to do a simple one? FD Alguera. What can we do here? Can we... I don't know if I'm going to be able to get too fancy tonight. Trying to do this all in one stroke because it has an F in it. But, actually, let's try this. This variation of the F here. What is going on? Well, I think what they mean in few strokes, so less pickups. They want the whole thing to be connected all in one, similar to how we did Ashes up here, just all one stroke all the way through, which unfortunately doesn't always work. But if we get creative, FDA. Let's see what happens here. That's FDA in one stroke minus the crossing of the F. Not the cleanest of letter forms, but the idea works. Alguera. There's some potential there. Okay, last two. Oh, last one. P-Y Kong. P-Y-K-O-N-G. For owl. Oh, for... Okay, here we go. P-Y Kong. P-Y-K. Can we finish this with a fancy P? How fancy can we make our... How fancy can we make our P? That sounds weird. Oh yeah, because then we'll have the same shade in the Y. The K will have a stem, but that's okay. Let's try. Sorry, I'm speaking out loud. You guys don't know what's in my brain. But you're about to potentially see. I didn't really think about the connection from the P to the Y. I didn't get that far. That kind of works. The P, if I'm being honest, doesn't super fit in. I want to try one more variation and see. Let's see here. This also may or may not work. Guessing games. My ovals are all over the place. But I like that P to the Y a little bit better. If it still looks like a P, I'm not sure. Always lots of options to play with in any case. Am I using white ink? No, I'm using it's basically clear. Like if I turn the lights on, you can't see it. It's just blacklight ink. All right. Okay, Google, turn off glow.
Got it. Turning off the glow light.
Okay, Google, turn on studio.
Okay.
Boom!
Turning studio
Whoa.
lights on.
My face cam is way too bright now. Oh, did I freeze my face cam? I totally did. Darn it. Rookie mistake. Not a mistake, it's a software problem that they've just never fixed. Here we go. There we go, folks. We're back. Wait. Okay, Google, turn on desk.
Alright.
Booyah.
Turning the desk lamp on.
Back to regular mode. Oh, but as you can see, the writing is clear. Like right now, you can see the wet ink on the paper. But here's the dried one we did earlier. It's invisible. Blacklight invisible ink. Kind of fun. Oh, sorry, I probably should have warned you guys that I was turning the lights back on. Just look at the moth. I wanna somehow, can I shoo him into the frame so you guys can see him? Oh, I ticked him off. Nope, he flew away. He was chilling here the entire blacklight time. He's resting. Now he's chilling on one of my lights. I finished your guys' name requests, and I finished the Instagram requests. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, seeing as though it is now 12:40 a.m., and I do have to get up early tomorrow morning, this might be a not shabby place to end our live stream. I'll post on Instagram in the coming week to ask if anybody has any theme or fun ideas moving forward for future weeks. I think I'm gonna keep this. If it goes till midnight, it turns into not a rave, but we turn into a blacklight party. Bernice, you're still here? I didn't know you were still here. I guess there's still 17 people here, hanging out. That's fun. Hopefully, I mean, this video, like all the other ones, will be saved. You can watch it over again. I do apologize that my hand wasn't the best. The forms weren't the best, but they're never the best. Some days we have bad writing days. Some days we have okay writing days. Today was more of a in our brain day, but I had a lot of fun. I don't think a couple of the blacklight signatures might have gone out of the box, but I think for the most part we stayed inside the confines of what I was trying to accomplish today, which is good. That was the main goal. I'm gonna do another one of these soon, where I'm gonna actually go cards instead of blank full sheets of paper. I'm gonna try to get on cards, which is a whole other hurdle because you have the edges of the paper are right there, so your fingers are gonna be hitting them and stuff like that. And the confines, for some reason, it's the same thing, but it's super much more nerve-wracking to me when I try to write on a card. It would be ideal to write on paper and then cut them out in card sizes, which is what I think a lot of people do and what I've done in the past. But I want to be able to do cards. I want to be able to have this on location with people. If we were at IAMPIT, like, oh, you want your name? Cool. Bam, name card. Here you go. And I would also like to do a bunch for myself and hand those out. I have business cards, but it would be cool to have like handwritten on one side of your business card. I think that'd be dope. So that's the goal. Thank you very much for hanging out with me and helping me get closer to that goal. I hope you found this entertaining or enjoyable or something. If you have requests for music vibes or things like that, drop them in the comments once this or on the replay, and I can get them, and we can. Or if you have ideas for future lives, these aren't really a structured thing, so every week can kind of be sort of a new thing. Maybe I'll do like bird flourishing one week, which is something I don't do. I'll dive into something completely unknown and new to me, potentially, because that's what this is all about. This is just playtime, hanging out with you guys, and yeah. Thank you very much again for hanging out. One last read through the comments. 3:40 in the morning, hardcore George. It's a great way to. I'm gonna say that's a great way to end your day. I'm glad that you ended your day with us, George. That's fun. Breakfast snacks, and penmanship. That's a T-shirt too. I have a whole line of T-shirts that I have to release apparently now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, this was a whole lot of fun. I could keep going, but it's 12:40 and I should probably get some stuff done and get some real world work done and get to bed. Or just go to bed. Oh, I got one more juice to drink. My last juice of the week. It's a little late for dinner, but I guess gotta do what you gotta do. We're gonna end this stream, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for hanging out. We're ending now.